Kind of make a practice overall today, Jake.
It was good. A lot of good energy. Obviously got back really late on Sunday or Sunday morning, 6 a.m. and gave him the, Sunday, Monday off. Just watched some film and did some walkthroughs yesterday and, kind of a spiders practice today. So right back to it. It was a good effort.
Overall, what did you make of the tape from San Diego once you watched that back?
Well, obviously proud of the win. Found another way to win in the fourth quarter. Obviously, it's been a big point of emphasis this season. We just got to do more things that win and have that urgency for 4 quarters. And I thought we started off well, but at the end of the day in that game, we lost 2 possessions. The fake punt and obviously the punt return fumble, and those are things that you can't do. So at times we played with 10 on offense. Defensive communication still needs to grow and get better. So we did losing things at times. But at the end of the day, our guys found a way to do it, and really proud of them for it.
You guys went with Rod at left guard for at least the second half. What was kind of behind that?
Just performance. We got to still, find the best 5. And if we feel one of them's not performing, we'll, not be afraid to make that switch. And our guys know that. So that's a challenge to Christian. He's responded today. He's responded in the meeting room. He took ownership for it like a mature competitor does, and he's ready to compete.
Is that more of like a permanent thing, or is that kind of more up in the air?
It'll be game to game, situation to situation. And, we said the same thing at, tailback. And Javinsky's in there at the end because he's the guy that's out there doing it. So it's good to have competition within your team, even in week 9.
Then do you have any more clarity on Quinn's injury?
Yeah, Quinn, I'll tell you what, the guy's just a hell of a competitor. He's a battler. His injury list in the course of his career here is just insane. And like I said, he's passionate about it. He wants to finish strong in his last year. So we're hopeful that he can return for Utah State, but we'll see.
I asked Kyle Thornton after the San Jose game, but you guys lost a lot of close games in the fourth quarter last year.
Yeah.
Obviously, quite the opposite this year. And I think what Kyle mentioned was that there's just a different, level of competitiveness with this group. What in your mind, what kind of separates this team from previous teams that kind of allow you guys to get it done in the fourth quarter?
I think it's really hard to compare year to year. What I like to say is losing taught us how to win. We had to go through that, and last year was hard, and those moments were hard, and not delivering, and we had the ball last year 5 times under 3 minutes to go win the game and didn't do it 1 time. So you got to learn from that, and I think, when you go through something hard, you have to respond, and I think this team has responded. So I don't compare this to then. I just think going through those hard moments last year, not getting it done, and then doing it early in the season, just planted a seed of belief that we're never out of it and we can always figure this out. And that's a really strong thing, but I can't give them that. Those guys have to get that themselves, and this team does, and our culture does. And I think that's what we have right now.
As far as having, 2 bye weeks in the season, you've been able to break up your season kind of in those 3 chunks.
Yeah.
Do you see any kind of themes with maybe the first 5, then the middle 3, and now this final 4, what you kind of want to focus on, or what kind of has been the main theme throughout?
Well, it's kind of how we talk about a game. We talk about the fast start, the middle 8, and the focused finish. So our season was kind of broken up in that. So we've talked about it that way. Really proud of that 3-0 stretch in the middle. It wasn't easy, and to break through in October and have some success is huge. And we took a team meeting yesterday and just pressed pause and looked at the big picture for a second, because I think it's good to create a vision and really drive home the purpose of what we're doing. We have a chance to have a special season and to really make some lifelong memories for this football team. And so we looked at that, talked about it openly, and then headed right back in the dark today, and we're out here practicing in 35 degrees. So that's what this team is, and like I said, I thought there was great energy today.
Last bye week, I asked you kind of what the main focus was just for that week, and you said defensive communication. Are you still attacking that this week, or is there another specific that you want to get at?
Well, I think this late in the season in the bye, after 8 games, what our team is. And if we haven't gotten it corrected by now, we're going to have to make a personnel change or a schematics. We just can't do it, guys. And I think that's very evident. We've had a lot of those hard conversations as a staff. Because we haven't gotten it corrected. So let's trim it down. Let's simplify it. Let's make sure in these last 4 games we're playing incredibly fast, because we are now the hunted. We are. You see people faking punts and kicking onside kicks, trying to beat us. We're now the hunted. In the old Pac-12, we were always the hunter, right? So we still got to keep that hunter mentality and stay aggressive. It's keeping our guys fresh, and it's understanding that as the journeys get longer typically, and whatever you're trying to do, people naturally go 10% less. Okay, but what if our group goes 10% more? I mean, that could be the edge that we need to finish really strong.
Lastly, you've been able to finish really well in the fourth quarter, but maybe having like a third quarter lull, or maybe there's just kind of one quarter. In your eyes, what has been maybe the most cohesive, like consistent 4 quarters that you guys have had so far? Maybe a game that comes to mind, and kind of how do you build off of that?
Well, our best game by far is Texas Tech. You know, I think that was, you know, snap 1 to snap 200, you know, a flat playing complementary football as good as we can. And the takeaways led to the offense, led to a lot of different things. You know, but as you go throughout the season, people game plan for you. You know, they have things to take away your strengths and all that type of stuff. So we just got to stay ahead of the curve, never feel relaxed. Like, it's that closer mentality. Yeah, we started fast, but man, you got to want to, you know, go out there and put somebody away, right? So I think there's a little bit of that. You know, I just told those guys, everyone felt the urgency in the fourth quarter. You felt that energy. Like, we got to have that all the time, and that's on me as their football coach. That's my job, to make sure that we're performing that way in all 4 quarters.
With those third quarter lulls, like, are there any like kind of common denominators you can kind of like identify? What's kind of
I just
those?
think sometimes you talk about it too much, right? You know, like, so I'm not going to put it in their mind, oh my God, the panic third quarter. You know, it's just part of it right now. We'll identify it. You know, do we got to come out and, you know, stretch a little bit faster or do some routes on air to get our guys going? But I don't ever like to, you know, say, oh my God, we're almost going to panic because of one thing. We're also doing a lot of really good things well.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thanks, guys. Go Cougs.